Hey guys, and welcome to my first creative tutorial. And I will be teaching you how to build a Splatoon inspired map. Well, at least the mechanics within maybe 30 minutes. So, first you need to create some sort of arena. I actually was gonna do like a 4 team, these two colors represent Splatoon 1, these two colors represent Splatoon 2, and have all four of them fight at the same time just for more action. And, so the settings for these, I actually haven't tested it yet, but I'm probably going to test it later. If it doesn't work, I'll just delete this video and repost as, the better one. So, the only real thing that you really need to change, well, make sure that all these settings are correct. Enabled starting team, time until reverting, never, score 1, steal score, yes. So, and the reason why I'll tell you later. That's pretty much all you need to do. And I recommend placing 100 of these. So when it goes out at the end of each round, your score is the percentage of the area you've taken. So pretty much all that matters is the area that's taken, and not anything else. Make sure if you are gonna add a point system for eliminations, try to have it be separate from this score system, since it might affect the final result if it's like a 25 to 26 and then you get like an extra point for an extra elim, and then you end up tying it. So make sure it's a full 100 or some sort of number that you can divide to get to like a percentage. So you can easily, like, for turf war and stuff, you can make sure that everything is how it should be. So the second thing is, I actually haven't created this yet, but what you do for like the spawn, so you can pick your like class or whatever, like have like a splatter shot from like Splatoon stuff. I recommend having a teleporter. It's the most easiest thing, and just place it at their base. I just have drop on by accident, and then have the groups be the same for both. And no, have this be B, and you're going to, and then you go to none, because this is going to be where you spawn. So B, none, and this is just for one spawner. And then for another area where you actually spawn, let's say you put it like right here, for example, and then you have like some sort of class thing. This is where they would spawn and go in the portal to go to the arena. And then what you do is group A, and then it would teleport to group B, or you can do none, and it can't teleport back. And make sure these teleporters are not visible. Don't have any effects. Conserve momentum, yes, since having the momentum would be nice. You don't need to do any settings besides the team. Make sure it's set to the team that you want to have this specific color to be. So no one can go in their portal to go to the spawn. But this also means you can spawn camp. So an easy solution to that is, well, boosters. Place 2 boosters. it boosts them out on the map. And make sure you give them a spawn invincibility of at least 3 seconds. 2 of the seconds will be running to the portal, and the third second is going to be you flying, so they can't hit you midair, so you have time to react. Um. Okay. Okay. I think the recording's working again now. So, if you didn't hear for the recording, I did get a phone notification. I'm back for the second part. So I'm over here by the. Before you saw me like over there, and then I'm now over here. So for of course for this, for some reason the thing got reset. 9. Oh wait, it didn't. I'm just an idiot. So this spawn area, I forgot to say that you want to have this portal visible or have some sort of indicator that the portal is there so you can go to the spawn arena, like the arena area. And another thing, I haven't tested it again, but you see how these are colored? Each of them are the team's color responding to their number. So team 1 would be blue, team 2 would be orange. You get the point. So next, if you're gonna want to do like settings to be able to see, by the way, I'll get to the class later. So for the game settings, I actually haven't done this yet. So do voice chat team, but this is going to be only be for game chat. So you can talk to your teammates separately in the game chat, and if you're just trying to play with all your friends, you can play in the party chat. Max players up to 16. Just make sure that the amount of like teams in total corresponds to the amount of teams you want, and the team size. I recommend 4 because in regular Splatoon games you have 4 people on each team. Matchmaking type. Have pretty flexible teams, not like anything too crazy. Default class identifier, you don't get no default class because I don't want any classes to be messed with in order to create the classes for like the game. Okay. Refer to default class at the end of round, because you want to be able to make sure that at each round you can test out like a new weapon. And this is also just a solution for other things that could happen. Spawn limit infinite, because in Splatoon it's not life based, it's more time based on how much you can do. After last spawn, there doesn't matter. You can literally do anything besides like the 4 teams or whatever. Just put spectator. Just recommended. Total rounds. I recommend just 1, because if you do multiple rounds, I'm not sure if the score is gonna like mess up or something. So I'd recommend 1 round, and if you figure out later that you want to do multiple rounds and you know how to fix some sort of glitch that could happen, you can do that. Team rotation. You can do it if you want to. You can do it if you don't want to. But of course, it matters if you have like multiple teams. not multiple teams, but multiple rounds. So if you have multiple rounds, you can do team rotation if you want to, but it's not going to matter if you only do one round. End game on match point, there is no such thing as a match point for like a game like this. Team visuals determined at round start. Obvious. Time limit. Because this is meant to replicate a Splatoon game, 3 minutes would perfectly replicate it. But you also have time that you have to pick your class and everything. So I'd recommend 4. So you just have a little more time, and also might as well have a little more. That final like 30 seconds could change the whole game. Fastest time win? No, because no. All teams must finish? No. Win condition? Most round wins for like for whatever, like no matter what, just have most round wins and score when most amount of score. If you're doing multiple rounds, it's gonna be that you're gonna add on to the percentage from the last round, and it'll just keep adding up, and it's gonna be a little sloppy. Um, Eliminations to end off. Last standing no. Join in progress. No, this I'd have spawn if you have multiple rounds, spawn next round, or spawn. Because if you have like barely any people and you need like another person to start twisting things up, you can do that. But if you don't want that to happen, you can do spawn next round or spectate. But I really recommend spawn so you have more people. Like if someone went AFK for a second, they can just run in. Spawn location, spawn pads, obviously. Respawn type. Now this is depending on what you like. Usually respawns are individual in the regular Splatoon game, but you can also make your map a little more unique. Post game spawn location, like this is before and after the game, the spawn. So this would be island start or pre-game location. Only allow respawn if spawn pads found. No, yes, no. It doesn't really matter since they're gonna. None of the spawn pads are gonna get destroyed in the first place. Auto start. If you don't have a supporter creator code, don't put it. It's not needed. Game countdown. I'd recommend like maybe 5 seconds, not just because you have to look around you, but so you can know who your teammates are and you can recognize it and kind of make. And if you're in like a Discord server, you can switch to a specific call for your specific team if you don't really like using if you don't really like using the regular Fortnite voice chat. Vehicle trick shot multiplier. If you are gonna customize your battle arena and you're gonna have vehicles of some sort to spice things up, I wouldn't recommend it. But I'd recommend putting it at 0 so it doesn't affect the score at all. Keep build structures between rounds, so we're not going to be building anyway. Allow out of bounds off. They're not going to be able to get out of the box anyway. Allow spectating other teams. Of course, if you are spectating, sure, if you want to. Doesn't really change anything. I just have to make sure I find where I am. Elimination score. Again, unless you figure out some sort of magical way to make this separate, no. No. Allow friendly fire. In Splatoon, regular Splatoon, friendly fire is not a thing. So if you're trying to replicate, then I recommend no. And player collision. In Splatoon, they do have player collision, so I recommend putting it on. Unless you want to not. Um, so time of day are in a box anyways, but I recommend some sort of like brighter time. I'm not really good with time. Um, some sort of brighter time so the arena is like not as dark. Camera filters, your personal preference. Lighting. You could. This is another way you can just do that. You can just have them automatically have like a brightness of 100. So when you enter the arena, it's like all bright. But if you don't want to make your people go blind, I recommend doing default and then doing the time of day. But you can also just do default time of day anyway. Fog thickness, you don't need it unless you're trying to figure out like a way to do like a render distance thing. But in Splatoon, you have maximum render distance you can see across the whole map. Okay, so health. This is something that doesn't need to be changed. And again, but I have 100 health or 200. It's like 100 health, 100 shield, or 200 health. I do recommend having 200 health instead of the shields. Mainly for the fact that in Splatoon you can never tell how close they are to being dead. But if you have like the shield cracked, they would be able to tell you're halfway to being dead. Infinite ammo. In Splatoon, they do have a mechanic with like some sort of like ink thing. Not some sort of, but obviously, hold on, let me turn that off since hell no. Infinite ammo. Yes. Yeah. Why did I go silent for a second? Maximum build resources, just in case they magically get some resources, just put it at 0. Harvest, just in case they find a way to harvest, even on the settings will prevent them. 0. Allow aim assist. Again, you can do it, but you can also make it completely skill based. Allow building. Just stop it. Allow editing. No, but there's no options for default. Building can destroy environment now. Environment damage off completely. You don't want them to destroy anything. Structure. No, just none. Pickaxe destruction. No. Like weapon destruction, pickaxe destruction, none. You're not gonna be able to do any destruction anyway. PvP pickaxe off. In Splatoon, there's no such thing as having a melee weapon that does like a certain amount of damage in your inventory at the same time. No such thing. Pickaxe range doesn't matter since you don't even have one. And of course, no. Down but not out. Off. In Splatoon, there's no such thing as a reviving mechanic unless you're playing Salmon Run. But we're doing the regular Turf War. Eliminate players' items. Keep. Allow item drop. No. And this doesn't matter. Respawn time. I recommend around 5 seconds. It's pretty decent. Spawn immunity, as I said before, you can't do exactly 3 seconds. 5. Or actually, now I think about it, 2 would actually be good. Just so you can't just have us. You can't get hit at all for like 5 seconds, and you go for the portal really fast, and you can't even get hit at all. That would be dumb. Fall damage off, gravity normal. because you want your stuff to be fluid. There's no such thing as jump fatigue in Splatoon 2, so I recommend off. No. Player flight, no, no, no. Um, player's name is location. Again, team only. Health granted on Elim. In Splatoon, you don't grant any health. Any health at all by killing someone. In fact, there isn't really a health bar or anything at all. There's more just a limit on how much you can get shot before you get eliminated or splatted or whatever they call it. So I do recommend not doing any of this stuff. Self damage, no. Just don't have any self hit damage. Allow manual respawning, no. You don't want any of these resources shown because you're not going to be using them. Maximum equipment slots. So this is when it comes down to how do you set up your classes. If you want to have a almost perfect replication of a Splatoon, you usually have a main weapon, a sub weapon of some sort, and then you have a special. The special, well, you don't really get a special ability. Yeah, it has to you have to do a certain amount in order for your special ability to charge up. But I don't know a way to do that, so I do recommend only 2 slots. Just simplicity. And if you do find a way or you want to do something to make special weapons, you can do that. Allow player elimination audio. There's no such thing as... Well, there is elimination audio, but their elimination audio for Fortnite is not like Splatoon's. So I would recommend turning it off. And also, you have to be aware of everything that's going on around you. UI. Now, this is going to be the part that I'm pretty sure I probably already shown. No, I didn't. Okay. So, timer direction. You're counting down because you want to know how much time do you have left, not how much time have we spent. Game winner display time. Have this be 5, score be 3. Again, 5, 3. You want the winner to be displayed for just a little longer. HUD type. It would be score. It would obviously be score because that represents your percentage per team. Show commutative. Yes. Show resource feed on eliminations. There is no such thing as a resource feed for Splatoon, so no. Scoreboard win condition. I'd recommend doing score. Tiebreakers is... if you somehow get a tie, which is impossible in regular Splatoon games, this is... you can't really do anything for this since it won't replicate Splatoon. So if you do end up with a tie, elims, sure, but it's not going to be accurate directly. Scoreboard. Yeah, but the thing is, there is overworld maps for Splatoon games, but if you don't have a big arena or custom arena, if you're a Splatoon fan, you know, a bunch of maps. If you don't have any special map designs, this is a starter kit just to have a game mode. I would recommend having it be scoreboard unless you actually create a complex map. Then you would do a map. Show scoreboard, yes. Watermark, I even know what that is. Um, Game and call out. Placement, if you're doing multiple teams, like I am with like 3 or 4, but if you're not doing that, win or lose. Simple. Victory sound. We don't really care about sounds. Um, Victory, there isn't really victory, defeat. It doesn't really matter. Um, Hide elimination feed, yes. Hide party eliminations, yes. Because it doesn't really matter if your teammate eliminates them or not. For description and a bunch of other stuff, I do recommend just having Splatoon, and if you've never played Splatoon before, just have a description. But um, if you don't know how to explain Splatoon, I'd recommend like putting description in some sort of way. But if you can describe it to your friends directly, I'd recommend doing a recommend not doing a description, just explaining it to them. Unless you're like a map creator that actually can, publish maps. Um, yeah, description is only not needed if you can just explain it to your friends directly and you know how to explain it. I do recommend backing up every single chance, since you never know if some sort of grief or something's going to go on your map and destroy it all. Because this progress is going to be a bit. So this is I thought this was going to be like the last part to the whole recording stuff, but I'll do a third part. Not that it'll all be edited for you guys, but I'll check it back when I finish the third part. Hey guys, and welcome back to the tutorial on creating a Fortnite version of Splatoon. This is, I think, the third part now, yeah. So, in the first 2 parts, we went over spawn, all this stuff, and I think we went over the teleporters. So, I did, the blue and the purple side for my map. You can literally do it whatever you want. And, these are the 2 spawners. Like not spawners, but the areas you spawn. You can organize however you want, but this is the area where you also put your classes. So over here is where you create the classes and input them in there later. So these, as you see, there's like a variety of weapons, because if you have too much, let's say, shotguns, or as they're called in that game, blasters, it will be a little too, leaned towards one side. So as you can see, I have multiple different varieties of weapons and sub-weapons, like ARs. By the way, the crossbow, I chose the better one out of the 2, because who doesn't like a crossbow in a game that is kind of weird? And also, the crossbow's main weakness was the ability to not destroy build, so it will be a little stronger. And as you can see, some of the rarities are like not matched up with each other. Like this is gray and this is legendary. The reason why I did that is because you need to be able to have a balance in the weapons. Because if you have the weapons be, well, if this was legendary and this was legendary, the gray AR is actually a little bit stronger than this in terms of its damage per second, and literally any other category besides like probably 1 or 2, which is fire rate and something else. so these are actually perfectly balanced, and I did and make sure you have a friend with you so you can test out these weapons, since the gray AR can beat this just a little bit faster. So this is technically a little better in a way, but that means you have to nerf it in a way. But you don't want to nerf it too much. Like having it go down that much HP, minus originally 200, that could have a difference, which is why I made the movement speed a little faster. So it adds a balance, but it's not, too crazy. Because if you have like a weapon, like if I put a legendary pump for, where is it, for this, it would be stronger than almost every single other shotgun here. Well, blaster. So you just have to have a balance. And how you do each of these is pretty simple. I'm just gonna go off of the original, the splatter shot. If I misspell it, because I'm bad at English. Okay. Um, so you do a class identifier of 1 for your first, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah. Grant on respawn, no, because you want to get it immediately. Max player health, max blah blah blah. This is whatever you want to change about the character's attributes. Never change unless you want to have a higher gravity or a limited amount of spawns, which you should never do for a game like this. And shields, you can be unique and have like 1 or 2 classes only have shields to make it a little more chaotic. Like if you have a class that has extremely low HP, give it shields and allow it to have siphon, so its shields can, like, the more you kill with it, the stronger you are. Just to add a little more balance and add a little more uniqueness. These equip granted item, make sure it's stone equipped, since you don't want it to only equip one of the weapons. Visible during games, they're not going to be able to see it anyway, but just give ammo with weapons. You don't need to have this on if you have infinite ammo, but I'm keeping it on because I'm lazy. Instant reload, don't overwrite. Infinite ammo, don't overwrite, because most of this is going to be from your basic settings. And show health indicator, you can have this team only, so when your crosshair hovers over your teammate, you can see how low they are. So it allows for a little more teamwork, and some weapons don't have that attribute right now for me because I'm lazy. So I did only 12 classes in total, mainly because there was a limit. You can only go up to like 15 or something. Oh, 16. And also sometimes creative glitch. See, I have to double check. So you're very limited. So I'm only doing 12. So if I want to release an update on this game, I can add more and not have to do a bunch of random nonsense. So I'm just going to do the purple spawn. As you can see, I've always been doing the purple one first for some reason. I don't know. So so make sure the spawners are that specific numbered team that and obviously it would correspond to this over here. And also would correspond to your portal or teleporter right here to make sure everything's correct. So if you're doing more than 2 teams, it's going to be a little harder, which is but it doesn't really matter. And this is just the setup that I had. So next we'd be doing the weapons. As you see, I've been naming the weapons along with it, so people know what's in each class or like weapon set or whatever. like splatter shot and splat bombs would correspond to the splatter shot and the splat bombs. That was actually perfectly synced. And make sure these are the settings, by the way. One for the class, it doesn't have to be one. It could be whatever class the number is. Team to switch to, don't switch. Activating team any. Time to switch instant because you want it to be. That was a bad snap. I may have to retake that. Respawn player on Switch? No. Restore health and shields on Switch? Yes, because sometimes as I said before, you can have different health for different attributes and different balancing. So you have to make sure it recovers your HP. Clear items on Switch. Class items only. Size 0.5, so it's not, if it's 1, it would be, just do 0.5 so you have more room. Volume visible in game, on, visible in game, yes. You want this to be visible so people can go and get it. Accent color could be whatever color your team is, and I know I saw purple, but I like the fuchsia color a little more. Gameplay only, activation audio off, zone audio off. You don't want the audio. It stinks, and it won't feel like it's a Splatoon game when you have audio whenever you switch class. There's no settings at all, so it's a pretty basic thing for the classes. And as you can see, this is usually how the spawn works, and make sure, again, this is visible so you hop in, you can start fighting. Let me just fly over back to spawn area, blah, blah. And make sure that each spawn somewhat replicates, so it looks like it's just the color that's changed, so everything's fair. And also make sure every single class selector is the same as the corresponding on the other side. So if you're used to walking it if I want to go and get the splatter sniper, I can think of a better name. You spawn right here, you can easily just know exactly where it is. So you obviously know everything. And also, this will allow you to switch classes each game. But the thing is, this is actually something oh no, I overshot it. So, when you go for the portal, you go right here. So forget about the thing I said before. Actually make these things, make them go to another separate area where you set your spawn and then you go fight. So it's all simple. So I'll actually just build it right now since I think it would be pretty easy. So there's 4 people on each team. And make sure you're doing checkpoints and not player spawns. It's not going to work how it should. So you get your regular player checkpoint. The reason why I'm doing the plates is because sometimes, maybe it's just me, but sometimes the other new spawner and checkpoint pads don't work for me yet for some reason. So I'm just gonna go over here, just create a little flat area, and then obviously I just need to phase through, checkpoints. All you need is 1, but placing 4 will, if you multiple people die at the same time, they won't spawn the same spawner. I'm actually gonna take this thing now, because obvious reasons. So it'll go here. So you drop out of this, you hit the spawner and make sure you have like multiple, so if multiple people go in at the same time, you won't end up going to the same area. And now with the one in the middle, this will actually be going to a new one. I'm just going to do group A since I haven't used it yet. And change this one to group A. Put it in the middle so I don't have to waste that much memory. I know this is going to look like a gosh dang mess, but it still works. And I'm just going to switch my team to team 3 and hopefully it works correctly. Sometimes switch team doesn't work for me either in my maps. So I'm going to start the game. Hopefully I spawn team 3. I spawn team 1. Okay. And also I'm probably going to change that to that around like 5 seconds starts after I realized how weird it is. So this will I actually have a chance to show you. You got your weapons now, and you can change. I guess you can't change, so you have to be careful on which one you choose at the beginning. That's actually good for anti. And as you can see, I am gaining turf by stepping on the platform that's mine. And it corresponds to my team color. And this class has a regular walking speed or a slightly slower, I forget. And also, just for a quick strat, if you walk in between two, you can get two at once. So this is pretty much your basic creation. Obviously, you have to get the player checkpoints correctly. Because if I just kill myself real quick. Just kill myself, make sure I respawn. Actually, now that I think about it, you don't need to have the thing since you can't switch. So you don't need to do that player checkpoint thing. I thought before it wasn't going to work, but apparently one of the settings I showed you guys, that was awkward. One of the settings I showed you guys made it impossible to switch between after you've chosen one. So you don't have to worry about it. By the way, if you do get a random like 100%, cool. And also, as you can see with the settings, you cannot break anything, even with explosives, as you saw over there, nothing broke. Obviously, you can still switch to your builds, but you can't do anything with it. It's probably just going to make you look like an idiot. So if you're on a keyboard, or if you're on custom on a controller, like I am, you can just easily just switch it so you can't switch to your builds. So you don't instinctively switch to your builds and try to build. And make sure you tell everyone that so they don't lose their minds. So that's pretty much the basic thing. And as you can see, the timer is going down. So this will allow for like a very fast game since obviously the timers. And the thing with the boosters also, it will boost any grenades. Hold on. Is it? Hold on, wait a minute. Oh. Yeah, so maybe have some sort of way to prevent that. I didn't really know that was a thing until I just figured it out. And then obviously when you end the game, victory because I got 100%. And I just ended a game on my own. And then score 100, and then elims 0 because I can't kill anyone. And as you can see, I just used these walls to test the damage outputs when I was alone. Sad face. That was weird. So let me actually show you. I'll actually create the green spawn. Let me just get rid of this since I realize it's useless. And I'm just gonna switch this back to class identifier B. So I'll create one of these things right now with you guys here so you can see it in action. Obviously I made this helper work too. So, and again, just walk in here. Maybe put one in the middle since I think the hardest thing to do is the kill them while you're in the middle of it. And also, I just realized with the way that the spawn works, maybe I have a spawn invincibility of 5, because it takes like more than 2 seconds to walk over. So let's do the 5. Let me go in. Obviously, your first spawn, I should really change the game countdown. Obviously, it only activates on a respawn. So, hold on, what? Wait, what? It's the only spawn that actually... Oh, it just takes a few seconds. That's why I was going crazy. But by the time you go in the port... I'm depressed. I forgot to change it to only a specific team. I just copy and paste the portals and then put the team indicators and stuff. I didn't put not the team indicators, but I forgot to put this can only be activated. Target group C. Go through. Okay. I'm just an idiot. So now it should work. And don't make a mistake like me. Make sure you go over to the class identifiers and make it go to instant. I'll fix it all later. So I shouldn't have deleted this checkpoint thing. So you do get a checkpoint. Or what you could do, I just thought of an idea. Have it be that this for me, just for my map in specific, extend some sort of tunnel like this instead, and have the boosters again. I know I've been using them a lot. You'll boost, and you can't really go back. And go to your galleries. By the way, this is just for me, so you can also see what I'm doing in the back scenes. grab one of these. So when you go on the booster, you don't just perfectly go there. And also, maybe extend it like this. So you can also just tell it. You can also just add extra spawners like right here. Not spawners, but you know what I mean. And then just grab your checkpoints. Why am I so slow? I'm not gonna do those checkpoints. And then boop, boop, boop. There you go. You got your checkpoints, and you can't go back either. Then just do it to your other bases too. Do just every single one. Then you just do that. Well, you don't have to do this again. Door and checkpoints would be like right here. And you can also just add 4 right there too. Just to make sure that there's multiple checkpoints under your name. Also, I didn't make this shape like this on purpose, if you know what I mean. So I guess we'll do the lime one together. Just grab this. So how I made it was I actually want it to be like this far out. And then it goes in like that. Outlining is the main part of this to make sure that it would fit. Then just do that. Too high. The spawn part doesn't need to be too high, but then you got that. Go over to this. Grab this. This is probably the worst commentary you've ever seen. Just place all of these on here. Create the roof. So this is just pretty much what I do for mine. The reason why I did that in that specific way with the 2 holes is because I'm going to go over here, grab the ramps, place the ramps like so, and then put the 5 spawners on this side. I'm pretty sure this is team 3. Then team 3 for all of them. Obviously, after you've done the first one, you just got the hang of it. What am I doing? Okay, that. I forgot to get the door. Place the booster. Boost in. grab the portals or teleporters right there. This will be group G. No, target group G. I don't know, I just think of random letters. This target for the group G. And then group G would then be switched to the top. Then we got the basic spawn set up. Then now we have to do all the classes. So again, you just, what I do, since I know all these classes work, and I should also make sure that they're 1 second. Yep. Okay. Just boom, 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 and yeah, my Switch is a weird thing where half of my buttons are the same buttons as other things. Make sure it lines up. Just change the color, or you cannot. It's up to you. I don't know what the color is. Okay. I did apple green. I'm just gonna do the color since I just want to. There we go. And then just do the same things for the rest of them. And I recommend putting them in like the spawns in an ordered fashion like this, so you can do one at a time. And the spawns, like as you probably have noticed, I did Team 4 before Team 1, so you never have to put it in a specific order unless you want to keep your brain in sync. But if you have a color coordination in this map, it's pretty simple too. And then boom, boom. You never put spawner, like the classes on top of the spawners. It's just gonna look weird. I don't care if these visible are in game or not, but if it's again personal preference. Now down to the bottom. This is class 6. This is class 5. That's why you double check. And also, that's why. No. Don't. By the way, just recommendation to you guys that don't put these in the walls like I do. If you have a sanity, like not like me, I have no sanity. And also a recommendation, if you're doing this exact same spawner area, make sure this is right and this is left. So this is facing more towards that side, that's facing more towards that side. So you can easily see the you know. I can't speak today, and I never will speak. So these are pretty much your main things. Make sure you change to 1 or instant. Go over here, log over here. Change these to 1 or instant. By the way, this looks a little disorganized. And it'll probably go over to the pink spawn and fix those. After I'm done with the green. On. That's again why you go back and double check, because mistakes like that could cost you nothing but Yeah. And then just change the color. I'm probably going to stop changing the color after these two. So I don't waste your time and just have the video go longer. I don't even get money from this anyway, so why am I even trying to make it long? I'm not purposely doing it though. And why did I just walk all the way around? Make sure this is one or instant. I'm just gonna change those so I don't have to fix those later. Sometimes I like doing one, sometimes I like doing instant. It's just personal preference. If you want the people that play the map get confused a little. And that. By the way, never set these to only activate on a specific team, because first of all, it's a waste of your time. Second of all, you can just easily just do this. And then you don't have to waste several hours just being nitpicky. And also, if you have a problem like this, then you're stuck with it. Or maybe just change its location. I'm lazy though, so. And then that's pretty much a green spawn created. And then orange would be the same, but just with different teleporters, different like teams, and blah blah blah. And that's pretty much how you create your Splatoon map. This video is probably going to be several like minutes long, but again, it works in the end. And 9, 10, 12, 11. Okay. And that's how you create a Splatoon map in the, well, game called Fortnite. It's mainly going to turn to a platform soon. And I'll just record the last, like, tour for, well, the final outcome of my map. Okay, so, hello. This was originally meant to be the clip of the tour of the finished version of mine, but I found another cool thing you can do to prevent people from, well, going up here. So what you can do is go into your damage volumes, scroll down, make sure you're on all options, and go to selected teams. Do one and all but selected. So this barrier will, not barrier, but death zone will affect everyone but the people selected. So that's just one thing. Another thing I noticed is with one of my classes, which was grenades, what you could do is you can throw it at an angle and it stays up there because the boost just doesn't affect it. So far, I haven't found any sort of solution to that, but I'm thinking something to do with the barriers. I'm not sure if the barriers will be affected, but maybe if you put that like that, barrier, invisible. But the thing is, now you can't, yeah, so that's not gonna work. So, make sure you have a spawn that doesn't allow grenades to get in your thing. And I'll just make sure the people like that are in my map just don't do it. Other than that, just do that to each. No, I don't want to do the barriers. I forgot I didn't want to do the barriers. Just put the death zones and make sure it's the specific team. Why can I not track that? All but selected should automatically be on. So this is a good way to make sure people can't get in your base. And you don't really need to do anything else with these step barriers. We just need to change that. I know being a little quiet for a video like this, but this is just something that I didn't realize before that I just needed to add now. And then just final two. Wait. This is team. Where is it? Oh, but selected team 4. That was a team 2 by accident. So you can just also see me in the making. And number 2. Then go over to this. Just make sure this is a team 3. 3. Team 3. So that's an easy way to also prevent people from going up here. It just makes things a lot more simpler. And so let me just show you the map in game. I forgot to change that. Obviously that score up there is going to be a little different. I'll just fix that later. As you can see, we clearly didn't die there. But if we go to another one... By the way, the color changing thing also doesn't work. I realized that later. So this is how it'll work. Well, at least for mine. Oh, and just a recommendation. If you're doing with the blasters, aka shotguns, make sure you heavily nerf them since they're going to be extremely OP in this. So, yeah. And this is the map. You could probably hear my controller since it's extremely loud. By the way, make sure if you're going to add buildings like this, just make sure that it's not fully taking over a block since that's going to cause a lot of problems. Because they won't be able to get the tile. Oh, that's kind of obvious though. And also if you're doing like multiple teams, like 4 or maybe even like 3, make sure you have like the arena not be those colors. But if you're doing like a 2-team, maybe you could like have one side be one color, one side be the other. But like 3 teams, it would be harder to set it up. So that's just a recommendation for me. And you can also just do that, but you'll be boosted out of there before it actually hits you. So the only real threat is grenades. No, I just found a glitch, didn't I? I have an idea. Oh, I just had to look up. So this
sign
is
up now. Navigate left to sign in.
Yeah, it's just my TV. My TV for some reason wants me to sign up to some sort of program. So that's the vid, I guess. I've been working on this video for 3 days because what is that? Check my minds. I've been working on this vid for 3 days, not just because like all just not because of the map stuff and I had to figure out things that weren't working, but it also there's just a bunch of other things that came up, and this is actually my first ever vid, me recording and not like just doing a live stream or something. So sorry if the audio is bad. And that's how you create a Fortnite version of Splatoon.